accolades, including awards for numerous 2026 Subaru models from both AutoTrader and JD Power. But don't just take my word for it. Take a test drive and you'll see why the Subaru name is recognized and renowned for quality. To learn more, visit Subaru.ca. Welcome to Uncommon. Welcome to Subaru.
School's almost out, and road trip season is just around the corner. But if your brakes sound like they're grinding harder than a hockey fourth liner, it might be time to visit Napa Auto Parts. Napa has all the quality parts, tools, and know-how to help keep your vehicle running smoothly and road ready. With over 85 locations in Alberta, visit your local Napa store today or shop online at napacanada.com. That's Napa know-how.
The Lowdown with Lowetide on Sports 1440. Can you fit sports encyclopedia on a business card?
Presented by Wolf GMC Buick. We're making it easy. WolfGMCBuick.com.
Home opener tomorrow afternoon. World Cup Canadian men step up in a big way. NHL offseason kicks off with a gigantic move by the Toronto Maple Leafs. Will the Oilers be far behind? We will find out. Lowdown with Lowetide brought to you by Wolf GMC Buick on Sports 1440 and YouTube. Wolf GMC Buick, trade in an eligible pickup and receive a $1,000 truck trade-in bonus on select Sierra models. Visit wolfgmcbuick.com. As you know, we're on YouTube. We're on Sports 1440 AM radio. We're also live on Radio Player Canada, iHeartRadio, and sports1440.ca. After the show, we're on Apple and Spotify podcasts. And, of course, we tweeted out on X mid-afternoon. By 5 for sure it'll be out there. Twitter at Lowetide, at Declan Krueger, and at JFenwick04. Our guest today, headliner of the day, Steve Lansky. Inside the Truck podcast, we are going to drill deep on Hockey Night in Canada and the end of an iconic program in this nation that really did bring us all together on Saturday nights over many decades. We'll talk about that with Steve at 1 o'clock. We also have declinations. We'll talk about that in two shakes. And it's going to be interesting. Not that it isn't always. To 1240, I like what we're doing today. First, we've got the introductions. He called the Jonathan David hat-trick 24 hours ago, and now we want tomorrow's lottery numbers, and he won't give them. Ladies and gentlemen, it's Josh Fenwick. Josh Fenwick, everybody.
To be fair, I think I sent that out after his first goal, and that was the second goal of the game, and I was like, okay, this game's out of hand already. Hat trick. I read it, and I read it like, I thought I read it earlier. No, I didn't call it before the game.
Okay.
I definitely called it after his first goal.
All right. Well, then that's not as impressive.
But
I still want the lottery numbers.
I couldn't give them to you.
All right. What are you doing for Father's Day for your dad?
I'm going down to Calgary tomorrow after Hoop City. We're going to see Disclosure Day.
Nice.
And we're going to do a draft, actually, family movie draft. And then, I don't know, probably brunch or something on Sunday. I'm not totally sure. But Saturday night will be filled with games and whatever when we get back from Disclosure
I'm going
Day.
to tell your dad to take all your favorite movies with that ridiculous actor that you like.
Brad Pitt?
Yeah.
I imagine only 1 or 2 movies would be eligible for that draft.
Okay. All right. Sounds good. He's in sports heaven right now. Elks play tomorrow. World Cup is firing on all cylinders. And I counted it. There's like 9 weeks until college football season kicks off. And I know he knows the exact day. I think it's August 27th, but I'm not sure. Ladies and gentlemen, it's Declan Krueger. Declan Krueger, everybody.
I actually don't know the exact date. Normally,
fake fan.
Oh, something just fell behind me. Shook me up a little bit. Normally during the summer, I get more into, the storylines and stuff, but with Elks Nation and with the CFL, normally I try and split it 70 CFL, 30 college football off season, but with the work with Elks Nation, it's like 95-5.
Right.
So not as into it as I need to be right now, but hey, you rest assured, I will be.
Yeah. And it's, there's so much going on, right? And with that, let's preview what's coming up at 12:40 on Declinations, because this is kind of cool. And I wasn't into it at first, and then I remembered a couple of names, and I'm kind of interested in spilling the beans.
Yeah, so we are going to be doing a top 5 draft style. Based on the conversation we had on Tuesday, there was a lot of discourse about where does Connor McDavid rank all time in the NHL. Him not having a ring obviously came up. And this is a Declinations I've done before, certainly in the infancy stages of this station. But we are going to be doing a top 5 draft of the best players to never win a championship. However, you can only have one player per sport. So we're, of course, going to have hockey, basketball, football, baseball, and then I was going to do a wild card, but in the spirit of the World Cup, the 5th sport will be soccer and those who do not have a World Cup. So we're going to do a draft style, only one per sport, no repeats, snake draft format.
I like it. All right. I want to start here because it's a big game, home opener for the Elks. I know they've done their walkthrough. I know we've got some injury situations. I know you were down there. Could you give us an update from the gridiron about how it looks? I know the Owls got some injuries too.
Yes, so Tyrese Beverett not going to play for the Montreal Alouettes. It's looking like, I obviously wasn't down at their practice, so don't have that confirmed beyond a shadow of a doubt. Coach Killip made reference to the fact they rotate their players like as good as Tyrese is. It's not maybe something you have to worry about, a la like a CJ Revis or someone like that. For the Elks, Coulter Woodmansey, highest paid non-quarterback in the league. He's the 10th highest paid player overall in the CFL. He is not going to be in. He's on a 6-game IL for the Elks. Could be longer than that. Natural kind of thinking would be that Mark Corte, who started all of last season as the left guard, would come in. Now, granted, Coulter was playing the right guard, but if you shift Carter to right guard, bring Corte in at left guard, you do something like that. They didn't do it. Instead, they're going with the American Cameron Carter, who is going to be coming in and playing guard, and Mark Corte is still going to be that 6th offensive lineman. Ativo Mwaga Clements also not going to play. He's a teamer. He's not going to be in. And then Malik Carney, like on the depth chart, he's listed as the 2nd string defensive end behind Noah Taylor. I talked to Coach Killam about it. It's a ratio thing. I guess I had it backwards because I thought the way he was listed, it wouldn't have mattered towards that. Apparently it does, but he's just going to be off for one snap and then come on in.
Okay.
And that's how it's shaping up for the depth chart as of right now.
All right, we have to talk about the World Cup now. I read on this morning where people say greatest moment in Canadian soccer. I think the women took care of that at the Olympics, winning the gold.
Yep.
Men can't get there until they get there. However, I assure you, I was aware many years ago of Canada and their World Cup efforts, and if you could go back to any year there was a World Cup that Canada was involved, and say they would pile the goals on any nation, that would be breaking news, because goal scoring for Canada has always been an issue until yesterday in Vancouver. How did you guys feel when you were watching that game?
I mean, first of all, the fact you can win a World Cup game 6-0 for your first ever World Cup win is amazing. And I know Qatar was down to 9 guys, but Alphonso Davies also didn't play, and I don't believe Moises Bombito started as well. Then obviously the Kone injury, huge.
Yes.
My biggest takeaway, obviously this is incredible for Canada. I couldn't have even imagined being at BC Place Stadium and watching that game take place live. But my biggest takeaway was that Qatar never looks like they had played soccer before. They drew the Swiss 1-1, and everyone's thinking okay, hold on a second. What's Qatar doing here? You watch that game and they looked like they had never laced up a pair of soccer boots.
Do you feel like the early foul got them off? Because they seemed highly aggressive after that.
Yeah, that for sure. But even before that, they looked like they couldn't control possession. They didn't look like they had any real defensive structure. They just looked so out of their depth. And this is I was texting my friends about this. I hate to say it, but we're not France or Brazil. This is Canada. This isn't exactly a soccer powerhouse of a nation. And Qatar looked so out of their depth against us. So I don't know how they drew the Swiss. I don't know what their game against Bosnia is going to look like. Huge shout out to Canada. But my biggest takeaway was just how bad Qatar looked.
Yeah, and we got to give Canada some credit for that, but it did feel like they were off. What about you, Josh? What were your thoughts?
Hell of a good time. Man, that was so I went out to a pub with my father and we watched, and it was pretty empty when we got there initially. I would say by Jonathan David's first goal, it had started to be pretty packed. Sounded like an Oilers playoff game.
Was that because the soccer game was on, or one of the great giants of analytics in hockey was in the room?
That's because the soccer game was on.
Okay, all right.
I believe the footy match, as it were. Yeah, again, I'm not as well versed in the game of soccer as Declan or Connor. I played a little bit growing up, so that's really that's where my knowledge of it ends. But that absolute domination. What was it, 79 to 21% the shots or something or possession. And Qatar got 2 total shots, 0 shots on target, 1 corner kick.
It looked like they hadn't slept the night before.
Yeah, Canada controlled every aspect of that game. I don't know if there was Ishmael Kone, the leg injury, gruesome, had surgery on it yesterday, I believe. A horrible injury, big loss for Canada. I don't know if that should have resulted in a red card. Granted, I don't know what should result in a red card or not. I don't think at times
it was an innocuous looking play. It was obviously devastating.
It shouldn't have been. It was so soft.
Yeah. And the reason that I knew it was a bad injury was because Kone was not on the ground, pounding the ground or crying or anything. Yeah. When they penned in on him, he was literally like, oh my God. And you could see his leg hanging. I'm like, oh, gross.
Those kinds of injuries are they make you sick to your stomach, right?
That and what was Nick Chubb knee from 2 seasons ago or whatever it was, that was nasty. So, nothing but the best for Ishmael Kone.
All right, we're moving on to hockey now. The Toronto Maple Leafs been a major sign and trade, a depth pick. I think it was a 5th round this year to Tampa Bay, long-term 8-year contract for Darren Raddysh, who had a great year. He has always been an interesting NHL player. His underlying possession numbers are good. This year, he spiked as an offensive player because he was getting power play time because Hedman was hurt. Now, the deal itself, you're not giving up a lot. And if you trade Morgan Riley and move some things around, they've already done that in trading Justin Holl. So they've already sort of made that move. The deal itself, you can go, okay, if you're pushing for the Stanley Cup this year or next year, that's a deal you might want to make. But he's 30. And I think they've got, if you take that 8-year deal and say, if we can get 4 years out of it, then you're good. I just wonder how many years of that contract Toronto is going to be competitive. And if they're not, Jake is a smart guy. I know that people like to poo-poo the hiring or whatever, but he must have a plan to be competitive right away. I mean, he's got Matthews and he's got, Nylander. So I think it's okay if they can remain highly competitive. I'm just not sure they have the roster to do it. And the rumors that we're hearing about Nyes and others suggest they're going to be trading for some more expensive players, and we'll see what happens when they've run out of money. But it was an interesting first volley, major volley. This is a guy who's going to make bank no matter what. He does it before July 1. Either of you have any comments about what you think happened and how much more competitive this might make Toronto?
Does it move the needle for me? That's the real question.
Well, they're going to be trading Riley. They had to give up some stuff to get him. The contract-wise, they traded Justin Holl to make room. So, I mean, I think it does. He's a right-handed guy, and his underlying metrics are good. So I think it helps them this year and maybe next year and the year after. But it's an 8-year deal, guys. When the Oilers sign 8-year deals for less money, people are angry. This guy will have an impact. It's just that he hasn't done it 5 years in a row. The last year was an extreme outlier, and there's reward here. Don't get me wrong, but there's risk too. And I guess it tells you that Chayka is willing to take the risk.
He's certainly always presented himself as a GM who would put himself in those situations. And that's not even an underhanded dig at some of the things he did with the scouting when he was with Arizona and the fake workouts, the exclusive workouts. He has always presented himself as a GM who's listen, because I'm so, analytics driven, I'm going to do things that maybe seem kind of outside the box that'll put the team over the edge. But my thing is like it or not, I feel like Toronto, one, because of the market, but two, when you look at Austin Matthews and William Nylander, they have to be a team that's competing for cups. And I know we kind of chuckle and say that's not going to happen with that Toronto roster, but that's the spot they find themselves in, especially with those two players, maybe even Matthews specifically. And to me, it's just is this a big enough move to move the needle to get them to that point? I have to say, no, it's not.
Yeah, I think I agree with that. It depends on what else they do. Yes. They're building brick by brick. This is a big brick. What else is coming? I do like Hill to be the goalie, and I think they made room for him. And part of this is that we'll see where Riley goes.
And I want to be very clear as well. Like the way I've talked about Toronto in this situation probably makes me sound like I'm being hard on Darren Raddysh. I think he is an unbelievable player.
Oh, yeah, he's a good player.
Like the deal he got, good for him, and he maxed out. And I thought Tampa would keep him for around the same money. Like I'm not trying to knock him, but I'm just saying we have to grade it a little bit unfairly when you look at the situation he's coming into, because it is in fact Toronto.
Yeah, I think that's all fair, Josh.
He's 30 years old, just had a career year, and then signed an 8-year deal. I cannot imagine this deal aging well.
That's the whole thing. If you try to get him to 35, and then hopefully the cap goes up and it doesn't burn you.
Yeah, hopefully. But
we've seen the Oilers do this.
Yeah, I know we've seen
Milan Lucic.
We've seen every team in the NHL do this.
Yeah. I have to say there's Jake is interesting because he just traded for a younger defenseman, Andre, and I wonder if he's trying to do the dual locomotive tracks, right? Where he's for the now and for the future. Maybe, I don't know. Trying to figure him out still.
I just don't know if there's a lot for the now.
Not yet, but maybe they're going to surprise us. They spent a lot of coin, and that's the other thing. They didn't give up a lot, so you can't get mad at them in terms of the asset cost, but the money is certainly a big damn deal. Now, that brings us to the Edmonton Oilers. Mike Babcock, do we have a confirmation on when the media avail is?
No confirmation yet, because I don't believe he's officially been hired yet.
No, he hasn't been hired yet, but that it will come, and we'll hear about it probably later today.
Yeah, I think Speck, when he was on this morning, was sort of assuming that it'll be on like Tuesday or so with no snags.
Yeah. Speck wrote a piece today. Did you happen to read it at all? Or
I did not.
It was worth reading. Speck was his keyboard was on fire when he wrote that thing. And so for the Edmonton Oilers, they're, I think, in a little different spot. And we're going to talk a little bit about this throughout the day, but I want to tease it now. And then we'll continue the conversation as the day goes along. But I looked at Mike Babcock's Stanley Cup team and then his Anaheim team, and then the Toronto clubs that did well in the regular season and then fell in the postseason. And he had some things going on. He had really good goaltending all down the line. J.S. Giguère, then Osgood and Hasek, Jimmy Howard, and then he went to Toronto. Frederik Andersen was lights out when he was in Toronto with the Maple Leafs. Now, I don't know if it's a reflection of the system that Babcock played and the goaltender ended up having high save percentages because of it and great goals against average because of it, although that wasn't always the case in Toronto. But we'll have to find out, and I do think that we'll see a goalie acquired here in the coming days, and that goalie has a real chance of being the starter, no matter if Tristan Jarry returns, and I suspect he will. So that's one thing. And then in Detroit, he obviously had Nick Lidstrom. And in Toronto, he did not have the kind, it was a dog's breakfast, folks. He did not have the kind of defense I think he would have wanted. And so when we look at this Edmonton Oilers team, I think those are two areas. I believe there'll be another center coming in. I think there's another goalie coming in. And I have to tell you that I think we may see Nurse out and at least one defenseman aside from Connor Murphy coming in. And I'm not at all sure that Jake Wallman is going to be on that second pairing when the playoffs start next spring. We'll see. But the defense to me is going to be in a period of transition for not the top pairing, unless they split it, but I think there's going to be a period of transition for the defense, and I do think there's another goalie coming in, and I welcome you to give us a text whenever you get a chance, and we can talk about that because I think it's one of the key things we will be discussing all summer. What tweaks does Mike Babcock want, and what things does Stan Bowman want to stay with? He's acquired a lot of guys like, Podkolzin, but also Frederick, Ty Emberson, the young man, Ike Howard. How's that all going to work out? We'll find out. But the discussions, obviously, once Babcock is hired officially, will begin. You can text us anytime at 833-401-1440. We have a very, very busy day, including updates on the Blue Jays. They're playing the Cubs. I think the game is getting underway like right now. and we'll give you updates throughout the day. But we have Steve Lansky coming up at 1 o'clock to talk about Hockey Night in Canada, its impact culturally, its impact just for sports fans, and what comes next. And that is a big question. Lansky will answer at 1 o'clock. As you know, we have declinations at 12:40 today, and we talked a little bit with Declan about what that might look like. A draft of different sports, best players not to have won a championship. And that will be an interesting time at 12:40 today. We want to thank you for tuning in. We've got a great show ahead. Your comments are important. We'll get to those. And we, of course, have rumors on the way next. Lowdown with Lowetide, brought to you by Wolf GMC Buick.
Silent Ice Sports and Entertainment is an innovative market leader across Western Canada. Properties include the Spruce Grove Saints, the Junior Prospects Hockey League, Silent Rides Charter Company, the Hockey Super League, and the newly launched Female Super League. Silent Ice also owns the Western Hockey League Seattle Thunderbirds and operates the Morinville AAA Arena. The Silent Ice Center, a new state-of-the-art entertainment facility in Nisku, features 2 sheets of ice, a 1,600-seat arena, as well as Summit Restaurant. Learn more at silentice.com.
Are you a skilled laborer? All-Star Construction wants to talk to you. A heavy equipment operator with track hoe or backhoe experience? All-Star Construction wants to talk to you, too. With work in and around Edmonton for local land developers, All-Star Construction offers year-round employment. Whether it's power, gas, or telecom, developers rely on All-Star Construction to get the job done. So if you're a skilled laborer or a heavy equipment operator with track hoe or backhoe experience searching for work, search All-Star Construction on Indeed.
Got a car you're ready to part with? Find out what it's worth, fast, easy, and totally free at Go Auto. We're talking top dollar trade-ins, whether it's a little worn or still rocking that new car smell. Just a few clicks, and boom, you've got your value. Text value to 780-777-7777 to start. That's value to 780 all sevens. Why guess what it's worth? Let Go Auto show you the money.
Say hello to your new favorite drinks. Introducing new McCafe Refreshers. Icy cool, undeniably refreshing, and available in 3 flavors. Strawberry watermelon, mango pineapple, and blackberry passion fruit. Only at McDonald's.
The longest running basketball show in Canada airs every Saturday morning at 10 on Sports 1440. Hoop City with Paul Sir introduces a new generation of basketball talk, and it's right here on Edmonton's home for sports, Sports 1440.
Here's what you need to know about Lux Windows. We work hard. We come in early, we stay late, we go above and beyond, and then we go a little further. Not for awards or a pat on the back. We work hard so that choosing our windows and doors is an easy decision for you. It's the Alberta way. It's the Lux way. Everything we are is windows and doors. A company born and bred and made in Alberta.
Alan Olson Auctions presents the annual Rimbey Summer Consignment Sale. Online bidding is open right now through June 24th at alanolsonauction.com. Bid on a wide variety of machinery, including tractors, haying and harvest equipment, new and used attachments, trucks and trailers, and construction equipment, plus passenger vehicles, sea cans, cattle handling equipment, mobile homes, buildings, recreational equipment, and over 2,000 miscellaneous lots. For details, call Alan Olson Auctions at 403-843-2747 or visit alanolsonauction.com.
The Lowdown with Lowetide on Sports 1440. Can you fit Sports Encyclopedia on a business card?
Presented by Wolf GMC Buick. We're making it easy. WolfGMCBuick.com.
It's the Lowdown on Sports 1440. Brought to you by Wolf GMC Buick. Check them out, wolfgmcbuick.com. Jay's underway. Vladdy Jr. popped out. Ben Brown, 1-2-3 inning. Cubbies coming to bat. It is time for Rumors, brought to you by Harley-Davidson of Edmonton. It's riding season, and Harley-Davidson of Edmonton has your next bike waiting for you. Huge selection of new and pre-owned, Plus, test rides are available. Locally owned and operated since 1980 on the Yellowhead Trail or at hdedmonton.com. The big story today, aside from the men's soccer yesterday, which we'll talk about throughout the afternoon, is the Toronto Maple Leafs acquiring and extending Darren Raddysh, who has always been a very interesting right-shot defenseman in Tampa Bay with good underlying numbers. But he blossomed this year offensively, getting opportunities on the power play, I think like 3 more minutes a game on average. And he really did have a fantastic year. They signed him long-term, 8 years, well over $8 million, big contract, and it gets everything underway. Now, he was going to make a lot of money on July 1st anyway, but I think he's a hometown boy from Toronto. So it gives him an opportunity to go home, and it gives the Maple Leafs an opportunity and their new GM, John Chayka, to make a big splash, and that's what he's done. I think the first year or 2 or 3 or even 4 may work out well. It's the 8 years, and I think that if you're a Toronto Maple Leafs fan, you're sort of hoping the cap goes up, and you realize that in today's NHL, there are some teams, Toronto being one of them, they don't have a big tax break, so that'll be what you have to do. Radko Gudas is generating a lot of interest in the marketplace. I've always liked Radko. He chews glass for fun. I joke about that, but he is a throwback. He could have played in 1975 and done damage. I know he's 100 years old. I know he's not coming to Edmonton, but I'm a big fan of Radko Gudas, and he's lost a step, there's no doubt, but I suspect he'll be signed, and he'll be regaled wherever he goes. Jonathan Toews has retired after a 16-year NHL career. Did not end the way he wanted it, but he did get back to Winnipeg and had the year there. Not much to say about Jonathan Toews beyond from the time he arrived at the World Juniors and was such an impact player through all the years in Chicago and the great success they had. He would have to rank as one of the all-time great Blackhawks. You'd have Bobby Hull, Stan Mikita, Tony Esposito. He'd be there, and maybe there's Blackhawks fans out there who can tell me where he ranks, but I'd have to have him top 5. Not a lot of doubt in my mind about that. As we get ready for the off season, we can tell you that the free agent pile isn't that great, but the trade list is interesting, and I'm going to run down some names here. Chris Johnson has his list out for The Athletic. Dylan Larkin is number 1. Vincent Trocheck is number 2. Darnell Nurse is number 3 now. He's moved up. And Morgan Riley's number 4. Matthew Nyes, who I still can't see Toronto trading, is number 5. Mason McTavish. Jordan Kyrou at 7, player I would really like to see. Colton Parayko, I love him as a player. He's 33, though. I don't know whether you go down that route. Simon Nemec, right defenseman, young guy. Don't know that he's really going to go. Aiden Hill, Jordan Bennington, Jason Robertson, Valerie Nishushkin, Jake DeBrusk, Blake Coleman, Mason Lowry, Dougie Hamilton, Shane Wright, I'm almost done, Thomas Hertel, Brian Rust, Robert Thomas, Elias Pettersson, Devin Levi, Sebastian Cossa. You two gentlemen, anybody in there that you really like for the Oilers?
No, not particularly. They all sound maybe Cossa.
Yeah,
I think that is a very unproven goaltender.
Yeah, I think they'll get a more proven one now that Babcock's the coach.
So
that's one of the reasons why. Remember, Cossa was really rumored to be coming here. It was heavy. It could happen in the next 24 hours.
It was happening at the same time as all the Babcock stuff.
Yeah, I think once Babcock became the guy for Edmonton, I think that they probably conversed about what would you like to see, and I think that because Babcock likes to use 2 goaltenders, and so Tristan Jarry's the starter. That's fine. That doesn't mean it'll go for long with him as the starter. I think they'll get a real bona fide guy to be in tandem with him. So we'll see. But I like some of the names there. I really do. But I think that Connor Murphy, the rumor about Jason Dickinson now, we don't know what's coming back for Darnell Nurse, but I don't think it's going to be huge. If the Oilers don't plan to retain any money, I think they're going to get, a depth pick or something like that. Won't be much, but they won't be retaining any money. So there is that.
Davis Schneider is playing second base for the Jays right now.
Well, they got to get him in the lineup somehow, with that mustache.
But what happened to... It's either Andres Jimenez or Ernie Clement that's out, or Kaz, I guess. Did something happen to any of those guys?
Well, hold on. Let me go to the lineups. I have the lineups right here. I can find that for you in 2 shakes of a lamb's tail. So it was Springer, Vladdy, Sanchez, Let's Tango, Alejandro Kirk, Lukes, Okamoto, Schneider, and Jimenez.
No Ernie.
So Ernie's out of the lineup.
What is going on with Ernie? I guess he might not just be hitting his weight, but
maybe he got in a fight with Bert. Sorry.
This is not what you want to see.
I do like Ernie Clement.
They must just be giving him a day off. He's day to day.
Oh, no. It says nursing hip soreness.
Yeah.
Out of the line for Friday's game, in part due lingering left hip soreness.
That's no good.
All right. You just wait until you turn 60.
Well, let's see. I'm 22 and I have back problems.
Yeah, but it's from carrying this show.
No, that's definitely not it. That's more of a Declan thing than anything. I'm just sort of here,
Oh, Skippy says, I got here and laughed at the Ernie and Bert joke. I'm 63, though. Well, you're my target audience, man. I'd trade every prospect the Oilers have, including Savoy, for Nyes.
Stinky.
I like Savoy a lot. I might probably like him too much, but I think he's a real good two-way player. I know he's not big, but he's going to help you outscore, and he can play with McDavid because he thinks the game at that redonkulous McDavid level, and it is redonkulous. That's the word. Major Leagues of Baseball, man, they have got pitching tonight in the major leagues. It is so weird that it comes like in a 5-day rotation, obviously. But today on the mound, Tarek Skubal will play at 4:40 today for the Tigers against the White Sox. Schlittler goes at 5:05 against the Reds at Yankee Stadium. And then you have
Mizorowski against the Braves.
Yeah, at 5:15. And DeGrom goes at 6 o'clock at home against the Padres, pitching for the Rangers. Like, this is like
Soriano goes tonight for the Angels against the A's.
Craziness. It really is. And Soriano's having a great
Sasaki
year.
is going up against the Orioles.
Yep.
And Suarez and Bryce Miller battle it out in
well, Boston's such a disadvantage. If you're a Boston pitcher, you're not going to get any help. So if you give up an earned run, you're probably going to lose.
Oh, hey, and friend of the show, Michael Soroka, pitching tonight against the Twins.
I love that. Sabrowski went on a rehab assignment, I think, Eric Sabrowski. I love that there are major leaguers from around here. That's so cool.
By the way, I don't think we touched on this. I totally left it off of my heat check ice bath because I forgot about it until just now from this week. But Mizorowski's Maddox last week with the complete game with less than 100 pitches, and he had 15 punch outs.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
It might be the best pitching performance ever.
Yeah, I mean,
it was nuts.
He struck the first 3 guys out with the pitches at 104.5, the hardest pitch ever thrown, 104.3 and 104.2. And at the end of the game, I think his final pitch was 103.3 miles an hour.
Incredible. It was really incredible.
How do you pitch 9 innings? Again, I think he pitched, 97 pitches? And he's still throwing straight gas the entire time. He's a freak of nature.
It's pretty nuts.
I just wanted to mention that because I don't think we mentioned it on Monday, and I totally forgot about it. So, Jacob Mizorowski, you dog.
Yeah, he's a freak, and I worry about him because he's so slender and he throws like that fast, sooner or later something's going to happen. Something will break in there.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
He's modern day Randy Johnson.
Except that, I guess Randy Johnson was thin too when he was young.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. It's not a comment about Randy Johnson and his eating habits. It's just that as you grow older. Why am I explaining this? I'll put my money on nurse for Ryan Graves. Bowman and Dubas have done deals before. Frees up $4.75 million cap. The Penguins have soured on Graves, but his underlying numbers aren't terrible. Strictly third pairing, though. So that would be, you'd be replacing Spencer Stastny, who's an inexpensive player, for Graves on the third pair. I'm not disagreeing with you. I think that's the kind of guy Babcock will want, a veteran defense and guys who can defend. And so the puck moving is going to be a worry, I think. And then the other thing is, and we might as well talk about it because we're going to be talking about it all summer, the conditioning of these players, not just like staying in the lineup, but, they're going to have to show up there's only like 4 preseason games. And like Babcock wants this team, I guarantee to hit this team to hit the ground running or ice running. And I'm just fascinated by, number one, how this summer goes and how many players we regard as being locks are not. And then in the fall, what this depth chart looks like 3 games into the year. And then how many, guys in the minor leagues will catch Babcock's eye. Doesn't have a lot of time. That's the only problem there. What level of prospect or prospects would you have to add up to send Jari to St. Louis for Binnington from Nick M? I don't know. I personally would not give up on Tristan Jari. He came here and he was injured. Didn't play well. But towards the second last game of the year, he played well. He didn't start the final game of the year, but he played well. And I don't know why they didn't go back to him. So I think there's a story to tell about Tristan Jari. We just have to wait for it. All right. Ripped a nail. You guys have any nail clippers?
No. I don't just carry those with me. Are you all right? Do you need me to come over there and kiss it better?
I'm going to gouge you. So.
Okay.
Squish your head.
Never mind. I take away my "do you need me to come kiss it better" comment.
This was a little out there. Okay, on the way, it's Declinations. We've got a great thing. Tell us what we're doing in the next segment.
We are going to be doing our draft of the top 5 players to never win a championship, 1 per sport: soccer, basketball, baseball, hockey, and football, snake format.
All right.
The 3 of us.
Okay, love it. Lowdown with Lowetide, brought to you by Wolf GMC Buick.
The Lowdown with Lowetide on Sports 1440. Can you fit Sports Encyclopedia on a business card?
Presented by Wolf GMC Buick. We're making it easy. WolfGMCBuick.com.
This is the Lowdown on Sports 1440 for Wolf GMC Buick. 0% financing up to 72 months on select new 2026 Sierra 1500 models right now at wolfgmcbuick.com. 1240. It is time for Declinations, brought to you by the Edmonton Elks. Elks home opener tomorrow. It's going to be big and fantastic. Lock in your tickets. GoElks.com/tickets. And there we go. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for Declinations.
Yes, it is, as you heard, or if this is your first time tuning in. Josh, what's that third camera there?
That's my laptop camera.
Okay, that's what I thought. That was a little bit of a behind-the-scenes question because I was curious as to how that's happening. It's not able to happen, so that's okay. So what we have here, we are going to be doing our draft of the top 5 players to never win a ring, one sport each. Josh, you landed the first overall pick, so you are on the board.
Yeah, first of all, I just want to say Kevin Gausman is getting absolutely lit up in this first inning. He just gave up a grand slam and then immediately gave up another hit.
Yeah, this is unusual for Gausman.
Yeah, this is not great. So yeah, with the first overall pick, I thought about it a lot during the break.
Looks great, by the way.
Thanks. I will take Cristiano Ronaldo.
Oh, nice. Interesting.
Because
you know what?
Footy is the sport I know least about. However, I do know Cristiano Ronaldo is right up there with one of the best to ever lace him up and go and play on the pitch. So I will take Cristiano Ronaldo.
Great pick.
With the first overall pick.
That's an unreal pick. I thought I was going to be able to snag him later. I thought you guys were going to maybe leave soccer to the later rounds. And
no, you have to get the ones you don't know out of the way first, so you can get the names that you really know.
That's a great pick. I would have thought about it. I am going to go with a guy who, if not for Ronaldo, I think is the best pick to make here. For baseball, I'm going with Barry Bonds.
That is also the best pick to make. This is the best guy to ever play baseball.
Fantastic. I'm going to go with Johan Cruyff.
Yes.
Who was a wonderful player for Netherlands, Holland. I think it was 78. He didn't get to play because there were kidnapping threats against his family, so he didn't play. But he missed the entire 78 World Cup in Argentina. But he was a great player. Holland was a great team at that time. I think they made a final, did not
They
win.
made the final the year that they debuted Total Football.
Yeah, 74? Was that right? I can't remember.
Yeah, that
now.
sounds right.
Yeah.
I Googled it today.
He was an incredible player, one of the best 10s ever. The problem with Johan Cruyff is Zizou and Diego Maradona also played the 10s, so he's kind of a notch below in that comp. But that was an incredible pick. That's another guy I thought I was going to be able to snipe if someone took Ronaldo. You guys are okay. Soccer's are the way for you two, but that's a great pick.
I like Josh. I know like snippets of soccer, but I don't know it like backwards and forwards.
In his club career with Ajax and like 250 caps, he had like 200 goals, and then kind of became a creator later in his career. He was insane. He was an unbelievable player.
Didn't he end up winning a World Cup as a coach though?
No, it doesn't count.
I'm aware it doesn't count, but I thought he went and won with like Argentina or something. Because Pep was on the squad, and then Pep brought it to Man City. Again, this is all from Ted Lasso, so please forgive me if I am incorrect.
Well, you can't use Ted Lasso as
well, it's very factually accurate about the footy, just not everything else.
All right, my second choice, I'm going NBA, and one of my all-time favorite NBA players, Charles Barkley. Even better as a commentator. But if you don't remember Charles Barkley, he was like a refrigerator with skill running up and down the court. And he never won. He had two, really good runs in different cities, started in Philly. So I'm going with Charles Barkley. I know there are going to be other more famous names. I love Barkley, so I'm choosing him here.
Interesting. Wouldn't have been my pick for the first basketball player off the board, but I like it. I guess I got to wait for a little while and I can get my soccer player in the last round with you two haven't taken it. I am going to go with, in my mind, the best player to never win a Super Bowl ring. That's Dan Marino.
That's a good pick. The NFL's Connor McDavid
of football.
Yeah, the Connor McDavid of football. It basically.
Oh my God!
The worst part about Dan Marino is that it's so unfortunate that he didn't win because for a long time he basically led in every passing category and he still does in some of them.
If they had any defense at all.
Dan Marino, great pick. Okay, so for my next one, I'll take the first. No, not the first active player because Cristiano Ronaldo is in fact active. I will take another active player. Give me for baseball, Mike Trout.
Nice pick.
One of actually my favorite player to ever play baseball, but also one of the greatest players to absolutely ever play baseball. This decade he's been ravaged by injuries. Would it help the Angels at all? Nope, don't think so. One playoff appearance in his entire career, 0 playoff wins. But when other MLB players bring him up, one of the greatest ever, greatest of all time. So quick, so fast, so strong, full 5-tool player right from the jump. Mike Trout with my second pick. And with my third pick, I will take a hockey player. This is also very biased of me, but I will take Jarome Iginla.
Oh, great pick. Great pick.
I will take Jarome Iginla. He got so close, yet so far. Art Ross winning guy. And then obviously the end of his career, traveled around, couldn't get it. Jarome Iginla, one of the best.
I can't believe this guy fell to me at 8th overall. Yeah, give me Connor McDavid. I think he is clearly, with all respect to Jarome Iginla and Marcel Dion, I think he is clearly, and I know the story's not written yet, I think he's clearly the best player in NHL history to not have a ring, yet. But he doesn't have one right now. He's been there, 11 years. I'm taking Connor McDavid.
So what do I have left? I have football,
baseball, and hockey.
Okay, I'll go Ted Williams, even though everybody's chosen their baseball pick. Williams, I don't know that these gentlemen know who Ted Williams was, but he was a fantastic player.
He was on my list.
His career numbers are less than they would have been because he missed so many years because of the war. He was in the war. He was in the Korean War. He was in World War II. Legendary individual, human, and truly a great ball player. Many believe the best hitter who ever lived. Ted Williams is my baseball choice. And then what else do I have?
So you have hockey and football left.
Okay. For hockey, I'm going to go with the guy I always felt was wildly underrated for reasons that are hard to explain now. But Mark Howe was a truly all-time great. He was drafted into the WHA where he played with his brother Marty and his dad Gordy with the Houston Aeros. And he was a defenseman, but he was so good offensively, he played left wing for several years. And then 5 years later, in 79, he entered the National Hockey League as a defenseman. And then he played forever and extremely well in the NHL. So not a famous name for today's young people, but Mark Howe is my pick as the greatest hockey player never to win the Stanley Cup.
Okay, I like it. And now with baseball and hockey off the board, no Marcel Dion taken for hockey, and no Ty Cobb or Ken Griffey Jr. taken for baseball. Thought we might see those names. Listen, I think, I got to be honest, I know we're all making our own lists here, so this is a little bit of bias. I think I have the best baseball player to never win a ring in Bonds. I think I have the best football player to never win a ring in Marino. I think I have the best hockey player so far to never win a ring in McDavid. And I think I'm about to get the best basketball player here.
Well, we're just happy you only get one vote. Yeah.
I'm taking Karl Malone. Give me Karl Malone for the NBA.
Great player, no doubt.
Yeah. All right. So my last two picks here, doesn't really matter what order I take them in. However, in football, I will take Larry Fitzgerald. Spent his entire career with the Cardinals, never won a Super Bowl, was there got a touchdown in that game even, and they still ended up losing. They were up and they lost.
No.
Heartbreaking. And then in basketball, I really am struggling to figure out just one person to pick here. However, I will pick a guy that retired this year. I will take Chris Paul.
Great name.
The point god, as he was claimed, just could never really get over that hump. And then obviously went to the finals with the Suns, went up 2-0, and then the Bucks 1-6.
That hurts.
No Elgin Baylor, eh?
No.
All right.
I would have taken Jerry West before Elgin Baylor, quite frankly.
Well, he won in 72.
Oh yeah, that's right. He was. Yeah, my bad. That's my bad.
Yeah, for my last pick here, I am taking probably the best left back and arguably the best center back to ever play as well in Paolo Maldini. Best defender in soccer history behind maybe Franz Beckenbauer. Paolo Maldini to round out my list. I like that.
I've got football left, right?
Yes.
I'll go with Dieter, don't call me Ralph Brock. He was a great player in the Canadian Football League for a long time. And then I think it was the early 80s, 83, 84, went to the NFL, and he led the Rams into the playoffs, but he never won. Obviously, it's a personal choice, as my entire list is. But I'll say I remember Ralph Brock when he was a rookie in Winnipeg, and he had such a gun for an arm. They had a good offensive line. He would wait like 4 ticks and throw the ball as far as he could. And he would always outthrow the receiver. The receiver just couldn't get downfield quickly enough. Amazing quarterback. Did not have a championship in either league. And I played Dieter Brock. I always cheered for him, though, even though he never played for a team that I would have cheered for. So that's my list.
I like it. Good list, everybody.
I think they're different, right? I think that we'll appeal to different audiences. Obviously, mine is an older group.
The age is really you can tell we're 3 different age groups.
Oh yeah,
by the list.
Oh yeah.
Who did you take in footy?
I took Paolo Maldini.
So I picked in my soccer thing. I went through. I think Ronaldo and Johan Cruyff were the 2 that I was absolutely putting on there. Then I had to figure out another name,
right?
And I actually put Paolo Maldini.
He's probably the second best defender in soccer.
There we go.
Yeah.
I think that's a good list, and I think it does reflect us. And I like that they're so different. Rock was my boy, says B. I have the same reaction when I saw Warren Moon. Like Warren Moon, man, he was so I couldn't pick him because he won Grey Cups. But I like people will say, who's the best quarterback who ever played in the CFL? And I say Warren Moon, and people will say Doug Flutie, and I'll go, I'm sorry, I watched both. And they're both great. Nothing against Doug Flutie. But Warren Moon, he was like a majestic football player. He would 3 steps back, pump, fake pump, and then he would throw, like it would be raining, sleeting, 100-mile-an-hour winds, and that damn ball, perfect spiral. And it helped that Tom Wilkinson was the other quarterback, and I never threw a fantastic, spiral. Moon was all world when he got here, and the fact that the NFL allowed him here for 5 years or whatever it is, it remains one of the most illogical things I've ever seen in sports, because he was a great quarterback when he got here out of Washington. All right. So, well done, gentlemen. That was a really good one. I got to say, Declan.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
Good choice. I got the text, I don't know what time today, and I was like, oh, okay, that's cool. All right. On the way, Steve Lansky is going to join us, and we're going to go in depth on Hockey Night in Canada and the end of a Canadian tradition that pretty much is like, it's not the railroad, but it's right up there. And we'll talk about what it means and where we go from here as a nation. And I know that sounds ridiculous, but it really isn't. That's the impact of Hockey Night in Canada. Lowdown with Lowetide, brought to you by Wolf GMC Buick. It's time for an update with Declan Krueger.
This is a Sports 1440 update.
Brought to you by Elks Nation. For the best Elks coverage year-round, you got podcasts, you got articles, and you can go to elksnation.ca. We have player interviews, we have game analysis, and more. The best green and gold coverage online, elksnation.ca. Toronto Maple Leafs have acquired Darren Raddysh in a sign-and-trade with the Tampa Bay Lightning, reaching an 8-year, $68 million deal No info yet if it includes any no move or no trade clauses. Canadian midfielder Neil Kone has will undergo surgery to repair a broken leg that he suffered yesterday at the World Cup. And in the FIFA World Cup, United States and Australia kicking off in about 5 minutes' time here. Scotland and Morocco up next at 4. Brazil and Haiti at 6:30, and Turkey and Paraguay at 9. Toronto Blue Jays in action in the middle of the second versus the Cubs on the road. They are down 7-0. Next game on the dock today will be the White Sox and Tigers at 4:40, Reds and Yankees at 5:05. In the late game, we'll see the Red Sox and Mariners at 8:10. CFL Week 3 action gets going tonight with BC on the road in Hamilton. 5:30 kickoff for that one. Toronto and Ottawa tomorrow at 11 a.m. Saskatchewan and Calgary at 5 p.m. And then Edmonton with their home opener against Montreal at 2. I'm Declan Krueger. This has been a Sports 1440 update.
Sports 1440, Stingray radio station. CKJR broadcasts from West Edmonton Mall and Wetaskiwin.
Download the free Stingray music app and listen wherever you go.
Looking for a truck that can handle anything Alberta throws your way? Wolf GMC Buick has the offers to get you behind the wheel. Get 0% financing for up to 72 months on select new 2026 GMC Sierra 1500 models. Plus, trade in an eligible 2015 or newer pickup and receive a $1,000 truck trade-in bonus on select Sierra models. Ask about bonus offers for heroes, students, recent graduates, and more. Visit wolfgmcbuick.com.
When your project can't afford downtime, call Japa Equipment Rentals. From excavators and wheel loaders to compaction equipment, Japa has the machines you need. Trusted since 1972. Visit japaequipment.com or stop our Edmonton or Calgary locations.
The longest running basketball show in Canada airs every Saturday morning at 10 on Sports 1440. Hoop City with Paul Sir introduces a new generation of basketball talk, and it's right here on Edmonton's home for sports, Sports 1440. At Fountain Tire, success is a team effort. They're committed to their team members and their customers, and that means treating your vehicle like it's their own and finding solutions that suit your needs. Because whatever the road brings ahead, they're on it with you. Visit fountaintire.com today.
Come for Canada's largest trade shows, the biggest names in entertainment, exhilarating sporting events, and more. And stay for the experience at the Edmonton Expo Centre. Looking for the perfect place to host your next big event? From trade shows to galas, meetings, and concerts, the Edmonton Expo Centre has the space, event expertise, and service to make your next event unforgettable. With over 522,000 square feet of flexible event space, in-house catering, and operational expertise, they bring your biggest vision to life. Learn more at edmontonexpocentre.com today.
Guys, there never seems to be enough time in the day, but you need to make time for this. Ken Franchek here. If you're 40 or over, a quick PSA blood test is crucial for early prostate cancer detection. The Prostate Cancer Center's Man Van is a mobile health clinic driving change for men's health. A few minutes could save your life. To get the Man Van out to your business or event, book today at getcheck.ca.
Tired of the rough ride? Alberta used to be a leader in highway planning and construction, but years of neglect and cuts to maintenance are showing. You can see it, and your vehicle is feeling it. Infrastructure can last for years with a little TLC, but when repairs are deferred, minor issues become major reconstruction. We need action and a reliable capital plan. Contact your MLA and demand stable infrastructure funding. Find out how at fixourroads.com.
A message from the Alberta Road Builders and Heavy Construction Association.
The Lawnmower Hospital. Whatever the job, consider it done with the Lawnmower Hospital in Ego, the top-rated brand in cordless outdoor equipment. Their universal battery platform takes you from mower to trimmer into the mini bike with just one battery. They keep the party going with the Ego misting fan on those hot summer days, and then keep the party going with the Ego Bluetooth speaker at night. Check lawnmowerhosp.com now for stock and pricing.
The Lawnmower Hospital.
I'm Rick Showers from Noble RV, and 5 years ago, a lot of people bought their first RV. Not because they were really into the RVing, but because camping was literally the only thing you could do with your vacation time. You couldn't go on a cruise, travel was a nightmare. So you bought an RV, and you enjoyed it. But now you have all your options back again, and that RV you bought during COVID might be sitting around costing you money.
An RV needs love, care, and attention whether you use it or not, right, Rick?
That's right, Bob. It's okay to declare it was the right solution for the time, but those times have changed, and you might find that an RV doesn't fit your plans anymore. And that's okay, because we can sell it for you. Pass it along to a family that would choose camping over anything else available in the world today. So bring it to No Bull RV. Together, we'll celebrate what it did for you when you needed it and what it can do for you now that it's time to move on.
And that's No Bull.
NoBullRV.ca.
Here's the Lowdown with Lowetide on Sports 1440.
Presented by Wolf GMC Buick. We're making it easy. WolfGMCBuick.com.
This is the Lowdown on Sports 1440 for Wolf GMC Buick. Ask about bonus offers for heroes, students, recent graduates, and more. Visit wolfgmcbuick.com. Had a question just ahead of Steve Lansky on the text line. Kim in St. Albert says, wasn't it Brock Ralph? Well, there was a Brock Ralph from Raymond, Alberta, went to Raymond High School, drafted in the second round in, what year was that? 2002 out of Wyoming. And he won the Grey Cup with the Eskimos in Edmonton in 2003 and 2005. However, before him was Dieter Brock from Auburn. He came out of Auburn, and he played for the Winnipeg Blue Bombers from 74 to 83, Hamilton in 83, 84, and the Rams, Los Angeles Rams in 1985. So, yeah, Dieter Brock was known as Ralph Brock at the beginning of his career. And I hope that clears that. How the Canadian Football League's funny. You know, there was a time when they had 9 teams and 2 of them were called the Rough Riders. It's just outrageous. It really is. It's time for our headliner of the day, Steve Lansky, brought to you by Faber. That's FABER.ca. Cash Flow Crunch got your business on the sidelines. Schedule your free consultation with Faber's licensed insolvency trustees and get back in the game. Visit Faber.ca. FABER.ca. We are now joined by Steve Lansky. How are you, Steve?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm good. I'm doing better than Kevin Gosman, whose ERA went from 3.14 to 4 in 15 minutes.
I was going to watch, and then I saw it was 7-0, and I thought, I'm going to put it on U.S. Open Golf. Yeah.
Well, Gosman's a hell of a pitcher. I mean, if they can't bail him out of this, then, what good are they?
Just not today. He is a great pitcher, just not today. Yeah.
There you go. And it does happen. So I've been waiting all week. I've been putting off. I talked about Hockey Night in Canada's end of the line briefly when it happened. It occurred to everybody that it was done. But I wanted to wait to talk to you because I really want, this is the kind of thing that impacts people in a very big way, especially folks my age, because we grew up with it. It was part of the fabric of Saturday night in my house forever. There was smoking, beer, cribbage, and Hockey Night in Canada, and not in that order. And, Tim Horton or Johnny Bauer could have run for anything from dog catcher to premier, and everybody in our house would have voted for them. So it was a big deal for many, many years, and now it's gone. You worked on Hockey Night in Canada, Steve, for many years. So what's your feeling, like just your personal feeling about what's gone on, what's happening, and I guess we'll talk about the future in a minute.
I guess the overall feeling would be like somebody hit me in the stomach. Like when you're talking about it now, I can feel it in my stomach, like somebody hit me. I don't know how else to describe it. It's one of those things, how people go, I'm speechless. I have no words. That's how it feels to me because I'm like you. I watched it forever. I watched TV and replicated the saves that Bruce Gamble made on TV for the Leafs. And then, God almighty, I worked for the thing from the time I was 17 till I was 26. And I'm telling you, when you work for Hockey Night in Canada as a producer, 10 minutes did not go by in your life when you didn't talk about hockey. Now, think about that for a minute. 10 minutes did not go by when you didn't think or talk or do something about a broadcast for hockey. So that's how ingrained it is in my soul.
And I think for a lot of, people, and I don't know when people got to watch, 30 games a week, but back in the days, it was Hockey Night in Canada, and Saturday night was it. And, every once in a while, especially when the WHA came in, you'd get a Wednesday game. Ottawa Nationals and Alberta Oilers is the one I remember because it was the first one. But Hockey Night in Canada in our youth summed up the week. You'd have the leading scorers, you'd have the standings. Brian McFarland would talk about, what was going on. I have clear memories. I remember when Howie Meeker told us that the Flyers weren't going to win the Stanley Cup because Rick McLeish got hurt. And I was like, you're kidding. And he's like, the way he explained it was, this is it. The McLeish is out. They're not going to win. And it's the same way when Don Cherry explained why Vancouver Canucks weren't going to come back in 2011 because Boston had scored the first goal. And he's like, it's so hard to come back. You're already doubts in your brain, blah, blah, blah. Like Hockey Night in Canada, it was kind of like the Bible of hockey, and Canada's religion was hockey.
We lived and breathed hockey. From top to bottom, front to back, we lived and breathed hockey. I mean, Hockey Night in Canada wasn't even all three periods until I think 1968 on TV. And it was on every Saturday night. Usually it started at 8 o'clock in Toronto. And it was everything. And when I started to work on it, it was almost like, you said the Bible. It was almost religious in terms of we felt an obligation, and it was spoken and it was also unspoken, to be the eyes, ears, nose, everything for Canadians hockey related. And we took that so seriously and so deeply into our hearts and our guts and our threads and everything that that's what we wanted to give to Canadians, because we knew how important it was. We weren't news, because CBC News had their own, mantra, but we were sports, and we took it as seriously as you can take anything.
And it also, like, from a cultural point of view, I remember I was at the grocery store. This is like 30 years ago. And my son starts, like, singing the Hockey Night in Canada theme song, going da-da-da-da-da. And I'm not kidding you, Steve. This guy comes racing over. Hey, is he singing the Hockey Night in Canada? And I'm like, yeah. He goes, that's fantastic. It's an anecdotal thing, and it's a one-off. But I don't think we'll ever have Canada as united around anything as we had everybody around Hockey Night in Canada during most of the time that it was broadcast.
No, I would think not. And I don't know if you remember in the mid 80s, CTV decided they would get into telecasting the National Hockey League. And I think the 1985 Stanley Cup Final was actually on both Hockey Night and on CTV. I don't know what they used to call it. But that was kind of the first, I wouldn't say crack, but that was kind of the first moment where I thought, oh, you know what? Maybe we aren't gods. Maybe we aren't infallible. And then it became Molson Hockey Night in Canada because Molson wanted to brand the top of it. Then Global ended up doing some games in the Stanley Cup playoffs in 1987. And then it just started to twist from there. And then a lot of people don't realize Hockey Night in Canada was produced by a company called Canadian Sports Network, which was part of McLaren Advertising, which was owned by Molson. So basically, we were Molson when we produced Hockey Night in Canada. And in 1998, that's only when CBC took over the production of it. But I'm not going to lie, it started a slow slide from that minute, because when you worked at CBC and you produced Hockey Night, you also did other things. We didn't do other things, dude. We breathed hockey, smelled it, smoked it, you name it. When it went to CBC, the slow slide just started because now they had other things on our plate. We never did.
Yeah, it's and looking back now, you can tell. Like I I don't remember what year it was, Steve, but I remember the first year I got to hear Scotty Bowman talk during the playoffs, and I just was astounded by how smart he was. Like, there'd be 3 shifts into the game, and Scotty Bowman, who was doing color for Hockey Night, his team was out of it, whether it was Montreal or Buffalo, I don't recall. But he was giving, this player is not skating well. I wouldn't be surprised if he, checks down a line. There might be something wrong there, or this player has a lot of speed tonight. He's playing extremely well. I think that's a guy they might want to play more. He was a coach talking out loud. And it was like an education. And that's what I loved about Hockey Night in Canada most of all. Howie Meeker telling me that, Rick McLeish being out was the end of the Stanley Cup final. They wouldn't come back and win. And Bowman just being like within, 3 sentences betraying how brilliant he was and how much smarter he was than everybody else.
So all of that Hockey Night in Canada you're talking about was created by Ralph Mellanby. Hockey Night in Canada was a guy named George Retzlaff from about 1952 to the mid-1960s. And then Ralph Mellanby took over Hockey Night in Canada. And I wouldn't say I loved Ralph. I respected Ralph. And Ralph had an ego bigger than anybody I've ever met. And he had to, because everything that went in Ralph's head and came out Ralph's head ended up on your TV. And Ralph left, I think, after the 1985 Stanley Cup playoffs. And Hockey Night was not the same after that, but Ralph built it with Don Cherry and Howie and Scotty and all Bob Goldham and Ward Cornell and all those people, if you go back far enough to remember them, Dave Hodge, all of them were put in place by Ralph Mellanby. And he's the one that deserves all the credit for what Hockey Night became to people across Canada.
Steve Lansky, our guest from Inside the Truck podcast on Sports 1440 and the Lowdown with Lowetide. We're also on YouTube. Okay, so I feel like, and I've expressed this, it feels to me like the not that they're running out of ideas, but they're running out of like anything resembling new and fresh in the hockey coverage that we've seen. I'll say the last 3 years. It might be more, it might be less. I don't know. So if you were called in to be a consultant and they're like, look, we've got this much budget, we got to make this work, we got to make it better, what would you recommend that they do differently than they're doing now?
The pacing is absolute crap. I can't think of any other way to say it. If you watch Fox NFL Sunday, you see what pacing looks like. There is no slowdown in that show. That show, you're breathless by the end of it. A Hockey Night, you're breathless by the end of it, mostly because you're dead, or you're brain dead, or you're comatose, because it's so bad and so slow. So number one, what's going to happen is we're going to create so many more segments that do nothing but move. Just when you think you've had enough of that segment, bang, we're on to something else. Because right now, they are lazy. We'll just put these 4 people on camera and we'll listen to them talk. Seriously, put a gun to my head. It's horrible. That would be the first thing I would change, is the pace is going to get ratcheted up big time.
Yeah, I think you're right. I mean, I didn't think of it that way, but it feels like a visit, but not, like you could get pretty casual. Some of the Brian McFarland interviews were the player would come off the ice, they'd get their towel on, and they could have fun or whatever, but it was still right at the game. Like you were talking about the game. I feel like the in-jokes and the verbal just is a lot about not about what's going on. And I miss that. And I don't learn anything. And that's the frustrating thing for me. I would like to learn. And I don't know how they fix that, because just like anything else, broadcasters who hang around too long, I don't want any comments from you, Lansky, who hang around too long tend to be, repeat what they've said over and over again. But I would genuinely like, if you're not going to be Hockey Night in Canada, then chart your own course and make your own golden era.
Absolutely. And it can be done. Believe me, it can be done. One of the things I really struggle with is we're going to watch a period, then we're going to watch 18 minutes talking about that period. I just saw the period. I'm not blind. I know what the goals look like. If we're doing things for people who turned in after the first period, I don't care. Tune in before the period starts. I don't need a rehash of the period. I don't know why they think that's the way to go. I'll tell you why, because it's easy and it's lazy. And you don't have to come up with any new programming or anything that would interest anybody. We'll just talk about what you've already seen. Can you imagine if your next segment of this radio program was you simply breaking down what you and I had talked about for 15 minutes? You'd be off the air in a week. It's not even a thing. Yet that's what they do non-stop. There's no innovation. There's no, I mean, I got more creativity in this finger, dude, than they've got in that whole show. I'm getting passionate now because it makes me insane. You would have loved our production meetings if you could have been a fly on the wall in 84, 85, 86, 87. We never stopped throwing ideas out. Idea. Hey, Howie, do you want to do that? Yeah, I'd love to do that. How do I do it? Well, let's put you in this truck, outboard it. We'll have you with the tape machine right there. You can tell the guy beside you to roll the tape. Hey, great idea. I'm telling you, Hockey Night, Sportsnet, where ideas go to die, dude.
Well, and they have huge advantages. Elliot Friedman is really connected, but he's in everything. So the specialness of Elliot doing rumors after the second period or whatever period they want to put on, that was must-tune viewing, but it gets lost now because Elliot's always on. And I'm not being critical of Elliot Friedman. I'm just saying when you less is more. And I feel like they just have the same, 5 people show up and everybody gets a microphone and you just blather until it's time to stop.
That's exactly right. And it's completely unnecessary. But you would do that because it's easy. We'll throw him in there. It's easy. We'll throw him in there. God forbid we bring in Luke Gazdick for, more than one show a week or, whomever. They only rotate them because the guys want day off. They want days off. But it's just lazy. Bring in some new people. Teach them new things. Teach me new things as a viewer. It's not that hard. I'm telling you, it's not.
Well, we know the NFL, they're all over. If a player retires and they're famous and they're good on television, even if they're not, they get a gig, and, Brady's an example. Romo's an example. There are lots of them. I feel like if you get a coach fresh out of hockey and you put him on camera and you ask him stuff, he's going to be more informed than somebody who played 10 years ago.
Correct. The problem is, what are you asking him? Are you doing these inside jokes around the desk and you just kind of include him here? Or have you figured out a segment where whoever the coach is, let's say John Tortorella, I know he's done television, but let's pick him because he's recently out. What could you give us every intermission for 3 minutes, John, that we wouldn't get anywhere else? And you have that discussion. You don't tell John, you just sit there and we'll throw questions at you because that's lazy and boring and stupid. John, what do you think you can add? What can you tell us? Well, I could break down a play a period. Okay, it doesn't have to be a play from this game. It can be a play from any game. What can we do? These discussions don't happen. And when they don't happen, death.
Final thing, and I'm not going to lecture you because I've already told you a million times, but if you don't write the book, I'm going to start calling you from random numbers and saying, write the book, or tweeting you every 7 hours saying, write the book. You got to write the book now, man.
Harassment doesn't work for everybody, but it actually might work for me. So especially if you put funny little emojis. God, I like those emojis.
The emojis are good.
Yeah, I really do like those emojis, especially the animated ones now. Yeah, they're fantastic. Harassment might work. I'm not going to lie to you. I've thought about it a little bit this week because people have been asking me questions online and stuff like that. And I'm like, okay, what would I do? How would I do it? So the wheels are turning. You can probably smell the smoke where you are right now. The wheels are turning, yeah.
It smells like burned toast. So one of us is in trouble. Look, thank you. Appreciate it. I know it's been a tough week. It's been one for me too, but you hang in there, and thank you, Steve.
Thank you. My pleasure.
There you go. Steve Lansky, one of the legendary individuals who worked on Hockey Night in Canada over those many, many decades. All right. Your comments about what we've talked about with Steve. We won't rehash the whole thing, I promise. And World Cup soccer, Toronto Maple Leafs trade, Edmonton Oilers, what are they going to do? All straight ahead. This is the Lowdown with Lowetide on Sports 1440 and YouTube, brought to you by Wolf GMC Buick. Looking for a truck?
Here's the Lowdown with Lowetide on Sports 1440.
Presented by Wolf GMC Buick. We're making it easy. WolfGMCBuick.com.
You need the Lowdown? It's with Lowetide right now on Sports 1440.
Presented by Wolf GMC Buick. We're making it easy. WolfGMCBuick.com.
The Lowdown with Lowetide on Sports 1440. Author, musical connoisseur, sports know-it-all. Yes, a man for all seasons.
Presented by Wolf GMC Buick. We're making it easy. WolfGMCBuick.com.
The Lowdown with Lowetide on Sports 1440. Can you fit sports encyclopedia on a business card?
Presented by Wolf GMC Buick. We're making it easy. WolfGMCBuick.com.
Perfect place to host your next big event? From trade shows to galas, meetings, and concerts, the Edmonton Expo Center has the space, event expertise, and service to make your next event unforgettable. With over 522,000 square feet of flexible event space, in-house catering, and operational expertise, they bring your biggest vision to life. Learn more at EdmontonExpoCenter.com today.
At Fountain Tire, success is a team effort. They're committed to their team members and their customers. And that means treating your vehicle like it's their own and finding solutions that suit your needs. Because whatever the road brings ahead, they're on it with you. Visit FountainTire.com today.
Photographers, start your cameras. Vision Credit Union's annual photo contest is back. We're asking you to show us the people, places, and moments that made you glad you chose this rural life. Maybe it's the view from your farm, a walk down Main Street, neighbors pitching in, a weekend at the rodeo, or a sunset down a back road. Share your photo to show why life in rural Alberta is a choice worth celebrating. Enter and vote at whatsyourshare.ca.
The Lawnmower Hospital. If you're looking for the best zero-turn mower, go to the source. Hustler Turf and the Lawnmower Hospital. Hustler Turf started the zero-turn market in 1964, and they're still the kings of quality, durability, and performance. With versatile sizing from 34 to 104 inches, you'll have what you need to make your summer lawn care a breeze. Financing is always available. Check lawnmowerhosp.com.
The Lawnmower Hospital.
He knows all about the Expos and Oilers. It's the Lowdown with Lowetide on Edmonton's Sports 1440.
Presented by Wolf GMC Buick. We're making it easy. WolfGMCBuick.com.
$1,540 for Wolf GMC Buick. Check them out, wolfgmcbuick.com. Well, I guess I did break the James Burrows has passed away story. My mic was on, my apologies. But legendary television producer, 11 Primetime Emmy Awards, did so many comedies that you would have loved, like directed Bob Newhart Show, Taxi, Frasier, Friends, Will and Grace, Mike and Molly, which was actually very good. Didn't last a long time. It was very good. And so passed away. But that's a name that I've seen in the credits 1,000 times. So take care of that cough, Lowetide. It's springtime. Declan goes through it earlier. I almost got out of it, but I definitely have it today. So it's not a smoker's cough. I don't smoke, just so you know. don't say doubloons, Lowetide. I rarely do, honestly. It's one of the reasons I've been in radio for 46 years. I have done it, but I try very hard not to. Lowetide, do you think that with Hockey Night in Canada leaving CBC, Ron McLean is out next season? It's hard to say. Honestly, I worked for Ron McLean and with Ron McLean in the early 80s when he was at CKRD Television before he went to 2 and 7 in Calgary. And he could, my friend Lauren and I used to hang out because we were nerds and watch Ron do the late night sports. And he was amazing because he had the ability to talk about whatever highlight he was showing. And then somebody could say something into his ear and he would instantly be able to incorporate that into what he was saying. Believe it or not, that's a really hard thing for a lot of people, including me. McLean was just a natural at it. So how many people in the nation of Canada can do what Ron McLean does? Well, we've got Amber can do it. James Duthie, who's been a guest on this show before, he can do it. There's not a lot. There just isn't. And so I don't know. I think David Amber is the guy, but they don't call me about what to do. So Ron McLean is well known. He has his detractors, but he's been on television for decades, and everybody who's on television for decades has their detractors, except maybe Bob Newhart. Al's mic is hot. That'll be the name of my next show.
You're gonna have a next show?
Oh no, it won't be on radio. It'll be on YouTube or whatever.
Or the nursing home.
I could so do nursing home radio.
They'd love you over there.
Hello, everybody. I'm here until I'm not. Yeah.
Yep. You talking to a blank wall.
Kind of do that now.
Sort of, but there's a TV on that wall.
What did I say? So many people are saying they know that. Was it the cough or was it James Burrows?
I think it was James Burrows, but
okay.
Like you must have said something right after we got off the air because I didn't hear you in my headphones.
I always turn my mic off.
I also think it's just like the kind of the novelty of like hearing you when you're not supposed to. That like gets people,
okay.
You know what? Like, it's not always the subject matter. It's just the fact that it's in fact happening. It's like, whoa, that's cool and different.
Have you ever watched a broadcast where I've watched baseball all the time, where it's the wild feed, right? So they go, we'll be back after this, and then there's no commercial to go to, so it's just hot mics and guys talking. And if you ever don't believe men are pigs, you should listen to that stuff. Oh man, it is.
Got to be careful.
Bad.
In case no one remembers what was it the Flyers guy said on the radio this year in like January?
Let the boys rib each other a little.
To be fair, he said it to his color commentator, I think. But yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Let the boys rib a little.
My favorite one. It's not even it's not even something. It was a live mic, but he knew it was the drive into deep left by Castellanos thing.
So
Tom Brenneman.
That is the greatest broadcasting clip of all time.
I just need to make an apology for what I said earlier. I don't know if I'll ever be back. Crack.
And it's
Castellanos. It's a high fly ball, deep left field.
Yeah, bro.
That's gone. Anyways, yeah, my career might be over.
You missed the best part where he's like, I consider myself a man of deep faith.
Right, exactly.
Castellanos drives it to deep left side.
Just
like, oh,
absolutely. And Tom Brenneman is not the most likely guy to do it, but he did it. And then, but the fact that he keeps calling the damn game, and it's a long fly ball by Nick Cass. And then even funnier, after that,
was different.
Several times after that, there'd be a major event. Like, I think it was one of the attempted assassination of President Trump.
I believe when the Queen died,
right?
Castellanos had a
Castellanos with a rip into the cap.
When something bad happens in the world, put your entire mortgage debt. Don't actually, but you can bet on Nick Castellanos hitting a home run that day because it absolutely will happen.
He was recently released by the Padres, so I don't even know he's playing anymore.
Jays could use a bat.
Yeah, oh man. the Jays should be so much better than they are. It's like that meme, do something.
Yeah.
Yeah. And they're just not there.
On the topic of great calls, I'm trying to find it. It's in my TikTok likes, but there's a guy that predicted a guy's first home run. Like a commentator predicted a guy's first home run, career home run. And was like, yeah, second at bat, he's going to get his first home run today. Yeah, second at bat, probably on a 3-1 count, left field, second deck. And they get to a second at bat, and the count goes to 3-1.
Oh, wow.
It's like, oh my God. I've never been more excited for a 3-1 count in my life. Home run, like hits off the second deck.
Nice.
It's like, oh, almost second deck. He predicted every part of it. So it's cool.
Babe Ruth called his shot against the Cubs in a World Series.
1926 World Series, I think, if I'm remembering Major League correctly.
There's
a meme that I used yesterday, just so everyone's aware.
One of the things about the Cubs of that era, they had a guy named Hack Wilson who had 190 RBIs. And I remember when I loved reading about, I still love reading about the history of baseball. And I'd never seen a picture of Hack Wilson. Hack Wilson was actually built like a Coke machine. And he wasn't very tall, but he was like, he's like a square. And when I saw the picture, I'm like, that guy had 190 RBIs? Are you kidding me? And he did.
You don't have to run for the RBIs, Al. You can just crack them over the fence.
Well, he had a lot of home runs.
A lot of sack flies. Yeah. You can get RBIs that way.
Perplexed Oilers fan, not going to judge McLean as good or bad. Lose a lot of respect for what he did to Cherry. Cherry didn't even do anything bad besides not have enough tact. The winds changed, and so did the people. Not many can stand on their own feet anymore. Well, I think, how do I explain this? Words that were used by my father when I was young are no longer used in today's world. And it is up to all of us to adapt to those things because that's the world we live in. It's morphing. And, there are things that we thought were fine in 1975 that we don't think are fine now. And maybe that's going to change because, a lot of things are moving in terms of what is allowed and what is not allowed. But as a broadcaster, I'm entrusted by the company that owns this broadcast license to stay within a certain set of rules. And I take that seriously. And so whoever decides, this is beyond the pale, then they're taking responsibility for it. And so I know there's been a great deal of buildup over the most recent, say, 5 or 6 years about the Don Cherry situation. And I don't know for a fact that Don Cherry, will be viewed 20 years from now the way Don Cherry is viewed now. For somebody like me, I loved his books. I loved the television show, and I watched Don Cherry closely for many, many years. But I also think that everything has a shelf life. Again, nobody say anything. And he had a little radio show that he did, and he had that as well. And he coached the Bruins, so I cheered like hell for Don Cherry. But the world changes, and maybe it'll change back. I don't know. I can't tell you what the future will hold. But I do know Ron McLean took a lot of heat for that, for sure. And a lot of people are mad that he's still around. But, there's that kind of decision is usually made by one or two people. The world is full of snowflakes. It's sad to see we have to acquiesce to those people, to such folks, from David.
Attaboy, David.
Jay's got to run.
God, they're bad. I'm watching we've changed it, thank God, because I just couldn't take it anymore. Like the Jays are bad right now. They just are, like Gosman is a really good pitcher, and he was those balls weren't hit a little bit.
Yeah, no. I mean, I'm surprised he only gave up one home run. But neither here nor there, I guess. The PCA, man, he is fast.
He's a great outfielder.
Mm-hmm. Even yesterday, I was talking to my dad, and just totally like out of left field, he goes, "I still can't believe Pete Crow Armstrong's mom is the mom from Little Big League."
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, I know, Dad.
That is pretty wild.
And then his dad's an actor. Very strange. Anyways, PCA, hell of an outfielder, but man, is he is fast. And his glove is like a heat-seeking missile, though. Just you hit it anywhere near his direction, you're like, oh, that's an out.
Kenna says he made a comment, got fired. The world's changed, might change back. It's changed for who? You have to understand there were words used. Look, if you go back and watch even like children's animated cartoons that were made in the 60s, there's a lot of stuff in there that would be offensive to people today. And they don't run anymore. That's what I'm talking about. There's a sense that the world stays the same and everything is agreed upon. Well, that's not the way it is. We're always morphing. Things that were okay are now no longer okay. Kids who would go to school and be picked on when they were young for reasons that made them different. It's not okay to do. Some people think that's awful. You're limiting what kids can do. I don't personally. I think it's good that we celebrate, every manner of child. But some people think that that's, wrong. The strongest survive or whatever. So those things are morphing every day. What you can and cannot do doesn't stay the same. And if you're young, I'm telling you, there are things you say out loud now that you probably won't be able to in 25 years. And that's not injustice. That is the world progressing. And I'm not saying it's never going to go back because I do not know that. So that's my truth. I was watching Rod McLean in the 80s. Roddy. Yeah, no, I mean, I worked with him in Red Deer in 81, somewhere in there. And then he went to 2-7 in Calgary, and then he quickly went to Hockey Night in Canada. And he was instantly the best they had because he really is good at a lot of things that are required for a television broadcaster and a host. No matter what you think of him, Rod McLean is a real professional. And I mean, I've said on this show many times, like when he's on Hockey Day in Canada, when he's reading a poem, walking along, some skating rink outside Banff or whatever, it can get a little much. But as a professional broadcaster, if you're the producer, for most of his time there, Ron McLean has been the cutting edge. Same with James Duthie. They do very similar jobs. Duthie is brilliant at it. Not everybody can do that. Trust me. It's a really hard job to do. All right, more of your comments, hopefully about something else on the way. Lowdown with Lowetide on Sports 1440, brought to you by Wolf GMC Buick.
Do you have neck or back pain?
Forward for Buchanan. Lovely turn from Buchanan, and that takes a deflection. It's Jonathan David. Jonathan David. 2-0 for Canada. Easily. Buchanan back for Johnston. This one in towards Laren at the back post. Laren with the header. Jonathan David. He's got his second. Canada have a third. It is Dreamland in the first half in Vancouver. Canada 3. Red cards in the 14th, in the 33rd and 51st minute. Here's Saliba. And it drops down for Jonathan David. Trick for Jonathan David on the world's biggest stage. Fantasy football for Canada. They will finish in a position today with their biggest ever margin of.
School. Uncover evidence of the proudest plumber, Mr. Rooter.
Good to go. With Mortgages to Go, you'll be good to go. MortgagesToGo.ca says yes when the banks say no. That's why Alberta has trusted Mortgages to Go for over 23 years. If you need cash and have equity in your home, you're approved instantly. Guaranteed. Call 1-888-888-5998. That's 1-888-888-5998. With Mortgages to Go, you'll say, good to go.
Get ready, outdoor enthusiasts, for the Kalmar Gun Show. Head to the Kalmar Hockey Arena today from 3 till 8, tomorrow 10 till 6, Sunday 10 till 3 for the premier event to buy, sell, and trade the best in hunting and sporting gear. Visit huntmaniashows.com.
It might have been scraped by the snowblower, dented while door crashing, or crunched at the company Christmas party. At some point over the winter, your car was damaged, and it's been hiding under a coat of winter grime.
Then come and see Robertson Body Works. We can take care of the damage and the dirt. This week only, call and book a repair and get a complete auto detailing absolutely free.
But you have to book your appointment before the week is up. Go to robertsonbodyworks.com.
I'm Tim Robertson, and I fix cars.
The Lowdown with Lowetide on Sports 1440. Can you fit Sports Encyclopedia on a business card?
Presented by Wolf GMC Buick. We're making it easy. WolfGMCBuick.com.
This is the Lowdown on Sports 1440 for Wolf GMC Buick. Check them out at wolfgmcbuick.com anytime. It's 17 minutes to 2 o'clock. We're wrapping up the week. Darcy says, not saying you will, but how long will it take to bend the knee to Babcock so we don't hurt the organization's feeling? Don't see anybody asking the hard questions. Thanks. Well, I missed the Babcock media avail. You have to wait for people to have the opportunity, I think, before you're critical.
Yeah, I guess so. But also hurt the organization's feelings. Guys.
No, but I think there is a sense, Babcock's hiring was given a bit of a rough ride. And
Absolutely.
people are they're saying, look, you're gonna have to walk this back because you're gonna be talking Babcock face to face. After the initial media avail, there are going to be tough questions asked. But after that, as broadcasters, you won't dwell on that until it becomes an issue again, or if it does become an issue again, right? You can't have the media avail that they'll have, say, on Tuesday, and then in the fall you can come back and you can reignite that conversation maybe at the first media avail in the fall. But at some point, it becomes about the hockey team. If you were to ask every media avail about it, it just becomes untenable. There's no way to keep the story alive because all the things that occurred that were supposed to occur did occur. The NHL did their investigation, and they said I'm sure saw the wording. So he's free to be hired by the Edmonton Oilers. And so after the first initial media avail, where there will be questions, then we move on to the hockey side of it. And perhaps an issue will occur where that comes up again. I certainly hope not. And I imagine everybody involved hopes not. But you, as broadcasters, I think you pursue the story, and that is one. And I think the media avail will have a lot of those kinds of questions. And then after that, you talk about the hockey side of it. You want to cover the story, but I don't think you want to become the story if you're in media. So you ask about it, you give pointed questions. There will be, answers, whether you like them or not. Those are the answers you'll be given. And we move on. There's no real mystery in this. We've seen this occur many times in all different sports and the news as well. So, when Jason Krueger asks a question on Tuesday, it's, going to be about that or the hockey ops or what changes are going to occur. And you have to move off of that eventually. That's not, don't hurt the organization's feelings. As far as I know, the organization doesn't have feelings. The organization is an organization. So individuals might, but they are convinced Mike Babcock is the answer. And then we'll find out. I believe in redemption. I believe that we all, as human beings, this is my belief, maybe not yours, that we forgive. And second chances are given. But second chances, in this case, I think was Columbus. So this is a little bit beyond the normal. And I think it's been treated that way by media. But if you're the Edmonton Oilers and you want to hire Mike Babcock, you had to know this was going to occur. And my suspicion is that the media avail will start with questions from the rights holders. And they may involve things other than that. But eventually somebody will ask the question. There'll be 4 or 5 questions that follow. And then life moves on. The idea that somebody's going to take a bridge too far. I mean, we had Steve Simmons not long ago in the Cheka interview. He talked about, he had talked to a lot of people in the industry. And Steve Simmons at the next media avail, probably not going to mention that because the moment is gone and we've moved on to the next. That's what happens in media. So I think it's a non-issue. The issue was solved by Gary Bettman. There was a question about it. We all talked about it. We all talked about what the situation was. And now we've moved on, or will move on, because guess what? The NHL has said you can hire Mike Babcock. Everyone is blasting Babcock because he was hard on players before. The media will look like clowns when he sits down and says over the last 3 years he's had counseling, regrets how he's treated people in the past. No one knows, so give it a rest until you know the facts from Hammer. Hammer, I'm responding to people talking, and Mike Babcock doesn't have to wait for the media avail to say those things. Media reports what has occurred, and I think it's been pretty straight up. I disagree. I think Toronto was Mike Babcock's second chance, and then Columbus was his third, and now he's on his fourth from Not Fred. When did the Toronto stuff come out?
That is a wonderful question.
Because we all have memories, and some of us have good ones and some of us do not. But I felt like, in my mind, I remember thinking, Columbus was his second chance.
They came out in 2023 as well.
Okay. So I thought Columbus was his second chance, right?
I think could argue that was his third chance.
No, but when like, okay, the stuff in Toronto, why did he get fired?
Bad coach.
The team wasn't doing anything.
No playoff success.
Right.
They lost, 3 times in the first round?
Yeah, they won like 46 to 50 games, but they couldn't get out of the first. It's a tough
Never
division.
won 50, actually.
It's a tough division, right? Like, that's the problem. But having said that, I think Columbus was a second chance. That's my recall.
I think that's fair. When did he get let go from Detroit?
13-14. They lost in round
13-14, and then
no,
he was
14-15.
14-15, and then he immediately goes to Toronto.
They miss the playoffs, and then they have good years, 40 wins, 49 and 46, lose in the first round each year.
Yeah.
And then he starts in 1920, 23 games, and then he's done.
Yeah. And when did the Mandano stuff happen?
Well, that was
was that the 2011 season?
Yeah, it was a long time ago.
11-12?
Yeah. He that one I think really hurt his credibility because that was just,
10-11,
yeah. That was like it's hard to defend that,
And he'd also benched Chelios at the 2009 Winter Classic. Come on now. Didn't play Spezza in the Maple Leafs 1920 season opener against the Sens.
Yeah, I think that there's enough of a story here. We'll see how it turns out in Edmonton, and I think that battle lines are drawn based on, how everybody feels about this. So the cake is baked on opinion, and now on Tuesday we'll get the questions and we'll get the answers.
Theoretically Tuesday.
Well, okay, you're right. It's not confirmed yet. Actually, his hiring hasn't been confirmed yet.
How funny would it be if we just see like the Friedman text come down?
Right.
Bruce Boudreau, next coach of the Edmonton Oilers.
LT, come on. There was stuff in Anaheim and Detroit. When was it reported, JP? When did that get reported? I'm just telling you from my point of view, I thought the second chance was Columbus. And then the reporting that came out of former Red Wings was at the time they were former Red Wings. We have to be really sure on this stuff, right? And I'm not saying I'm right. I'm saying that the recall for me is that Columbus was the second chance. And we'll see. We'll see how it goes. Nobody knows the future.
So everyone here excited for the weekend or?
Well, where are you going? Where's your car going to break down this weekend?
Somewhere on the QE2, I imagine. That's why I'm ready for the weekend, is because it's been a long week. It did not start off great because technically Sunday is the beginning of the week, right? Yeah. So that happens.
Have we said goodbye to Vroom at all? Or
no, Vroom is still sitting outside my apartment currently. I actually have to force my roommate to help me push it into the parking lot today, as it sits out there uninsured.
So forcing your roommate, does that mean you're buying pizza for your roommate?
No. If he comes home he was up this morning I woke up to him coming in at 4 a.m. And when I left for work, him and a buddy were still up. So if he wants to keep coming in the house at 4 a.m. and waking me up, then he gets to do this for free.
Well, wait a minute here. What does he do for a living? Does he need to be up at 4 a.m.?
No, he was up at 4. Like he came home from just like being out at 4 a.m. He has a job, like a day job. He was up at 4 a.m.
Sounds like he's having a really good life. You can't be mad at him for that.
Listen, if you knew the reasons for why he kept doing this stupid stuff, you would not say he is living a good life. You would say he is coping. And so, but if he wants to keep being a dummy, then he will gladly help me with this.
Well, it sounds like there's a little bit of, rage in the cage there, a little edge to the
A
day.
little bit, yeah. Every time he's like, oh, I need to stop. I'm like, I know, so just do it. Anyways, sorry. Airing some dirty laundry.
Young people have more interesting lives than old people. Here to confirm. All right, Jason Gregor on the way. Thanks so much for tuning into the Lowdown. Please enjoy your weekend and cheer on the Elks. We'll talk to you on Monday.
This is a Sports 1440 update.
Brought to you by Sean Cunningham of Remax Real Estate. If you're next to the neighborhood or area, call or text Sean directly, 780-265-0165. So Maple Leafs acquiring Garrett Raddysh in a sign and trade with the Lightning, reaching an 8-year, $68 million deal. FIFA World Cup going on right now. United States leading Australia 2-0 at halftime. Scotland and Morocco at 4. Brazil and Haiti at 6:30. And Turkey and Paraguay in the late game at 9 o'clock. MLB action right now. The Blue Jays getting absolutely spanked. 7-1 in the bottom of the fifth against the Cubbies. That one in Chicago. Little currently pitching for the Jays. Late game tonight, we'll see the Red Sox and Mariners. And the Riverhawks will be in action with Corvallis at 7:35. CFL Week 3 action, BC and Hamilton at 5:30, and Edmonton with their home opener tomorrow at 2. I'm Declan Krueger. This has been a Sports 1440 update.